I think we all can agree it's been a very interesting winter and early spring in Oklahoma. Derrell, how is that impacting cattle prices in Oklahoma?
Well, you know, the market impacts are a little harder to measure. Producers have had tremendous challenge this winter. It's been a wet, sloppy winter. You know, now we're trying to have spring, but you know, this last week we had temperatures almost 90 degrees one day, and 2 days later it was a high of 40s. That's hard on animals. It's from a health management standpoint. We're still having to feed these animals. We're not quite to green grass yet, not consistently. And the other thing that comes up this time of the year, of course, is that wildfire threats become bigger. And so we've got lots of wind right now. Last year, a year ago in April, we had big wildfires in western Oklahoma. Of course, we had severe drought conditions at that time, and we don't have that this year, so probably not as much of an issue, but still certainly could be one of our challenges at this point in time.
Now, that's Oklahoma. There's also been some interesting weather to the north of us. They've had rain, they've had snow, they've had blizzards up in Nebraska on into the Midwest. Is that impacting prices?
Well, there certainly are some more noticeable market impacts. It's always a little challenging to sort out what's what, but you know, in a lot of feedlot country, we've had adverse conditions. We see that in our carcass weights, for example, which are well below a year ago, and that's clearly due to the weather. It's delayed some marketing of cattle. They don't finish as fast. Productivity's been impacted. In fact, Kansas feedlot data tells us that, you know, the biggest impact is a bit on gains. Cattle don't gain as well, but the bigger impact is feed efficiency really goes down in this bad weather. So again, it's a big cost for the producers of those cattle, whether it's a feedlot or out in the country. But there's also some overall market impacts, and we'll probably see some of those market impacts here for several more weeks.
A lot of people don't necessarily think of that. They think of the death loss when it comes to cattle. Is the death loss playing into the markets at all?
Well, again, you know, we don't really know what the numbers are, and we won't know for a while yet, but when you add up the winter weather impacts plus the flood direct impacts, you know, there'll be several thousand head of cattle involved. Those are huge impacts for the producers involved. Are they going to impact the markets directly in terms of the loss of cattle? Probably not. As big as that sounds and as big as it is, we probably didn't lose that many cattle, certainly to the floods alone, but and the winter weather losses may have actually been bigger than the flood losses, but the two together are going to be a significant number for those people involved. And it ranges all over the place, so it wouldn't really show up as a supply impact because we had everything from baby calves to potentially some feedlot cattle involved. So that's spread out over many months of market supply, you know, timing.
As far as all that goes, I mean, it's been, like I said earlier, it's been an interesting winter and early spring. Does that change your outlook for 2019 overall?
Well, again, I don't think it makes major changes in our outlook. We've pulled back beef production just slightly. Again, these carcass weights through the first quarter were below a year ago, and you know, we'll see how the rest of the year plays out. Overall cattle numbers, again, probably weren't changed that much. So it hasn't had major impacts. If anything, it's made supplies a little tighter here in the early part of the year, and probably on an annual basis is gonna boost these markets just slightly as a result of that. But no major changes in what we expected. This is still a year where beef production is continuing to grow, but at a slower pace than in previous years, and now probably even a little less than we earlier expected.
Steady as we go.
That's right.
Okay, thank you very much. Derrell Peel, Livestock Marketing Specialist here at Oklahoma State University.